First thing that I want to get to is there's an article and a story that's saying that Gen Zs are ditching 4-year college degrees for trades. All right. I've been hearing this resonate a lot. People have even been talking about this before I even, stepped on the scene to this show today. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's explore.
More and more Gen Zers are saying no to 4-year colleges and universities and saying yes to traditional trades like welding and plumbing. A new article in the Wall Street Journal explored the reasons behind Gen Z's move to become the quote-unquote tool belt generation and how they could be the solution to the shortage of skilled workers in the United States.
Queen R says, how can we tell how old men are? By how big our bank account is. how stress-free we are. As you get older, you make more money. Not all of us, but some of us. As you get older and you age, you don't even reach a peak earning potential until you get in your late 50s, early 60s. So if you want to evaluate how old, because age for men is really nothing but a number. It's not even a number. You know what I'm saying? We age according to our net worth and our assets. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to tell how old a man is, you could tell by the way that he moved what his work ethic is and what his net worth is. His net worth is going to value. It's going to tell you. That man is he chilling. He in his he in his bag right now. That's how you evaluate. Hey, how old are you? Let me look at my bank account real quick. According to my bank account, I'm 96. You know what I'm saying? According to my net worth, I'm 96.
United States. The author of that piece, Wall Street Journal reporter T-Ping Chen, joins us now to talk about it. This is fascinating, and we've heard it's not new.
No, I feel like this comes up.
There have been spikes when this has become a thing, but I'm curious, what is it about this particular point in time that has these young people looking more and more at vocational schools and trades, and which are the jobs that you found are the most popular?
Yeah. So first of all, college is expensive. It's been getting more expensive. And for generations, we have had this idea of college for all. That has really been something that, we've pushed on a lot of students to think that you've got to go to college. And if you don't, there's no real alternate path to success. At the same time, we are living in a really uncertain world with the rise of AI, with a tough job market out there for a lot of college grads. I'm seeing a lot of employers do things like drop their college education requirements as we face sort of a skills mismatch in this country. At the same time, we're seeing figures like, for example, there was a recent study out by Burning Glass Institute and Strada Education Foundation, which found actually that among college graduates, half of them are actually working in jobs where bachelor's degrees aren't even needed. And so, not surprisingly, all that is conspiring to create a feeling of skepticism.
Let me break this down for those of you that don't understand it, okay? There are certain industries where you do not need a college degree, but a lot of times people go to college because that's the thing that's expected of them, all right? Nothing wrong with a trade. We're going to get into that in a minute. But the common misconception is two things. Number one, that a college degree, A, has to be expensive. And then B, the other part of it is that you need a college degree to break into certain industries. I would say that education is always good because education doesn't even say that you can do the job. I talked to a nephew that I've been mentoring, and he's also a person that works for me. And he said, Anton, I finally landed, and I'm on my 4th interview for this particular company. And they saying that it's looking good, and I'm hearing all good feedback or whatever, and I'm going to start off at above a certain number. I'm not going to say what the number is. And he was so excited, and he's only like 21 going on 22 years old this year. And he's going to be making more. He's going to be making so much freaking money. And he's basically followed the exact same career path as me, except he did it much earlier in life. And he doesn't get the opportunities to even get into these doors, which I was a self-taught software engineer / web developer and designer. But then I realized, and I actually talked about this years and years and years ago about certain job industries and things like that, that I was not even able to get into certain doors. And even when I got into those doors, based off of my career path and my trajectory of what I thought that I wanted when it came to corporate America and becoming incredibly successful, you can't move up and you can't go into certain areas or arenas if you don't have the backing behind you as far as a college degree. So it depends on the track that you want. Now, if you want to go into African American studies, an underwater basket weaving degree, history, you want to be a lunch lady, you want to work at a call center, then that's completely different. A lot of times you can't find a job you can't find a job that's closely related to what you studied because what you studied was trash, man. You studied trash. Now, if you want to be an anesthesiologist and you want to make the most money inside of the hospital, then you're going to go down a completely different path. Yes, you're going to need a degree. If you want to become a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, if you want to become a registered nurse, you don't necessarily need college, or you may not necessarily need the same type of schooling or college. If you want to become a travel nurse, hey, shout out to the travel nurses. The guys is getting to it. The women is getting buzzed down. That's what I heard. I don't know. I've never been a travel nurse, but I hear a lot of people saying that they don't want to date travel nurses because they be out here tricking and slicking and licking. But if you just want to go into some random liberal arts degree, or you want to go study opera, and then you're working at a call center and you say, well, I didn't even need my degree in order to work in opera, what do you think is going to happen? Of course. And the other part of the conversation is how to minimize the amount of money that you're spending on a degree depending on what you study. And you also need to go into and study something that the industry is going towards, not how you feel. Okay? We're always going to need engineers. We're always going to need architects. We're always going to need doctors, and we're always going to need anesthesiologists and cloud infrastructure and every single type of engineer that you can think of. There's a 1,000 different types of engineers: civil engineers, mechanical engineers, software engineers, so on and so forth. Like, there's so many different things that you can go into, but you should probably go into STEM, right? Anything STEM related, you'll be fine. And that doesn't mean that you have to stop there. You have to continue to refine your skills based off of the industry that you're in so that you can, excel in it and grow in it and get a marketable skill and all of this stuff, right? But my point is that college is not a scam. That is the biggest misconception. The college that you went to and the degree program that you decided to choose and take out student loans for, you scammed yourself. You scammed yourself. All right? So there's nothing wrong with a trade. There's never been anything wrong with a trade. But to go into something and not get the most out of it because you just wanted a degree, but you didn't really understand what it took in order to be successful in certain arenas, then you're going to suffer.
Do I need
We're always going to need a dentist. Dentists get to the bag. Dentists get a bag. All right? You're always going to need these people.
a four-year college to be successful? Do I want to take on that debt? Is it the only path? Are there alternate paths up there? And so if you look at some of the figures, at a macro level, we are talking about last year a 16% jump actually in enrollment in vocational focused community colleges.
I wish they would separate it. I wish they would start to deep dive instead of just saying a college degree. It's not just a college degree, okay?
That's the highest, if you look at overall enrollment, it's actually at the highest level since the National Student Clearinghouse started tracking this data in 2018.
Wow, that's really... Sorry, go ahead. No, this is also fascinating. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you asked about what programs are the most popular. Mm-hmm. If you break it down, you can see, for example, with construction trades, that's one area that has seen a pretty striking jump since in that time period, since 2018, of around 23%. Likewise, vehicle maintenance and programs in HVAC, vehicle maintenance and repair and install and all that, it's gone up by 7%. So those are some of the more popular areas.
We're both children of immigrants, right? And I think...
And let me add this also. I think that trades are cool. Trades are awesome. But also take this into consideration. When you go into a trade, and I talk to a lot of the guys that work at or work on, even if you open up a business, a lot of the types of businesses that you open up. I was talking to a guy that does excavation. I was talking to an electrician. A lot of them do really well. They make a lot of money. They charge me a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times trades, because you have to remember that for most of us, we'll be working for the majority of our lives. We'll be working for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Your back get tired. Your back hurts. I know plenty of guys that's tired of climbing through this cubby hole and doing this and doing that. And so, they trying to figure out another way for them to leverage their skill set to maybe open up a business and expand a business and hire other people to do it or whatever, right? But your back gets tired. They make a lot of money, but then they can suffer a lot of times also. So also remember that, right? I remember when I was going into, when I was at the steel mill, I had passed the test and I was going to be was it a millwright? Yeah, I think I was going to be a millwright at first before I wound up losing my job and then, going into software engineering. I was going to be a millwright. Yep. And you can't turn off that physical because the physical was how you then pay for your bills and make your money.
A lot of people who are children of immigrants experience this thing where, your parents are like, you got to be a doctor, a lawyer, it's got to be this. Mm-hmm. And I remember arguing with my mom and saying, well, maybe I don't want to go to college. Maybe I want to try something different. And it just could not. Her mind could not accept that.
It was basically, if you want to be a welder, you can do that after you go to college.
Right, basically. But I'm curious now if, the views are changing when people think about the trades, when they think about plumbing, welding, electrical jobs.
I see you, Sabrina.
What are the impressions that people have?
That's a really good question. So 100%, that stigma still exists, I would say. If you think about, we're living in a society where for generations we have that sense that college is the optimal, right? And anything other than that is less than. Mm-hmm. And not surprising, that does show up still when we're talking about attitudes, even among, younger workers, Gen Z, et cetera. If you look at survey data, you can see that the strong majority of Gen Z would be interested in vocational schools offering paid.
I don't believe that. I think a strong majority of them actually, they just want the money. A lot of young people, they are lazy. They don't want to work. They are super lazy.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Rita? This is Anton. I'm on the live. I got a question for you. How much did we pay the HVAC people? Do you remember what that contract was for the house we just?
I could look at it. You want me to pull it up?
Just give me a general idea of how much you think we paid the HVAC people, or what the contract was for.
20,000 or 30,000? One of those.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I think the total was 30,000, and we gave them 20,000 so far. No, it's the next one.
What about the electrician? How much did we pay the electrician? If you had to guess.
So far, we've given him 15,000, I believe.
And what about? Do you remember what we paid the plumber?
I don't. No, I don't.
You know about a general idea, or how much the plumbing thing was?
Turn right onto Barnes Street Northwest.
I think that one was about 15,000 as well.
Okay.
I had to guess.
All right. Thank you.
16th Street
Okay.
Northwest.
All right. Bye. Yeah, man. Like building this house, some of these contracts and stuff that we do. Man, them HVAC people, they hit me for a bag. They hit me for a bag. Seriously. Real talk. Like, I ain't even gonna kid you. A lot of people don't realize that these people, and they doing it, they running this bag up in weeks. It don't take them no months to do nothing outside of whenever they got to come back and do the inspection with the inspector from the city or whatever. They will come in, knock that junk out, and they will hit you for 20, 30,000 without even thinking twice. Seriously. 20, 30,000, forget the $300 just to unclog the toilet. Imagine spending $20,000, $30,000 and they getting that in a few weeks. Seriously, they running the bag up. If you know how to get it, if you know how to run it up, if you really know how to get that money, look, what I'm telling you guys is, I don't care how you get it as long as you're getting it legally. If you understand the game, because you may have a talent for working with your hands and being a little bit more mechanical. You may have a talent for, engineering or cloud or cybersecurity or anesthesiologist, and you love the medical field or whatever. It's money everywhere. It's all over. Whether you go to college, make sure you pick a STEM. If you go to a trade school, go to something where you can market yourself and then ultimately be able to break out for your own. Is so much money everywhere, and people are willing to pay. People are willing to pay. You know why? Because if you do great work and you can be on time and you can pass the inspection, this is what I budgeted for. I'll gladly give you the money to be able to take care of that. I'll gladly get you the money to be able to do it. We so small-minded. We only think, oh my God, how can I become a rapper or a basketball player or this and that? Man, listen, bro. Forget the label. We more caught up with labels. Hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a director and this and that. Forget the label. We don't care about labels over here. We care about legally getting to the bag, minimizing the amount of money that we got to pay in taxes legally, and then making sure that we leverage that money that we make to ultimately take care of us for the rest of our lives. That's the goal. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you an electrician. I don't care if you a surgeon. Any way it go, let's get to this bag. There's multiple ways to do it, whether you do a trade school or whether you do that, right? Just make sure that you're very, very intentional with how you do it. Minimize the debt that it takes in order to get there. Now, you could be a nurse. You could be whatever. You could be a content. Let's maximize the amount of money that we can get. Let's not go to jail for it. You don't have to scam. You ain't got to be out here in Atlanta running plays on people. Run the bag up, take care of business, and then maximize the amount that you get from it by minimizing the amount of mistakes that you have. That's it. That's the goal. Care about your title. Care what you do. If you get rich cleaning toilets, then get rich cleaning toilets. If you get rich doing junk removal, then you get rich doing junk removal. If you get rich installing HVAC, heating and cooling and all of this stuff, then get rich. But stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. It's that laziness that's ultimately preventing you from being successful. Seriously. Too many people just sitting around not doing nothing, thinking that somebody's going to come back and they just going to give them something. And I ain't waiting on nobody to give me nothing. I'm going to run it up.